everybody, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world. This is Friday on Coast to Coast, and we got everybody here. What's happening, gentlemen?
I don't like that Facebook makes you, like it used to be able that you could just share to all your pages, and I would be able to share this very easily. But now all of a sudden, Meta thinks that they know better and wants to screw things up.
Ever since they implemented the Meta action, it is extraordinarily annoying.
It's a pain in the balls. And hold on, is anybody part of the Meta AI?
Yeah, I played around with it.
I have those the Meta glasses, which has to obviously run off of the Meta AI stuff.
Is it worth it?
The Meta glasses are heck yeah. I don't know if they're using the actual Meta AI.
The app is free. Like if that's what you mean. Like you can play around with it, you can do some stuff with it.
Well, no, I mean people want me to join. They're requesting me to join.
Oh, it's no. So, like, they're basically treating it like another social media platform. So that's all that is they're trying to like follow each other, kind of thing. I haven't done that, but I've played around with it. It's so it gets into your privacy. Honestly, if you are in a public space like this, everybody's in your privacy anyway. So, as far as like following each other and whatever, like I didn't see any benefit to that, but I have the app because I played around with the AI features a little bit. So, I mean, as far as getting the app, cool. As far as following people, like, who cares?
Who gives a shit?
I think that element of it is going to be kind of like the Sky Blue or Blue, whatever that social media app that was supposed to be against X that I remember to log into about once a quarter.
Threads?
I think it's going to be one of those where it just doesn't really...
Threads is off of Instagram. That's a continuation off of Instagram.
No, not Threads. No, it's the blue. It's the one with the butterfly. Whatever that was.
Oh, I have no idea what the hell that is.
It was when everybody was losing their mind about X. And
hold on. Yeah.
So again, it doesn't matter. The comparison is the fact that you don't know what it is because it just never caught on really. And I think that'll be the case as far as people following each other on this Meta AI thing. But as far as playing around with making a picture into a video and stuff, that's kind of fun. But yeah, there's no real benefit to it.
Gotcha. Okay. So I have learned that I'm unable to even so the Philly sports guy, like I could send a picture in and AI can make that turn into what would look like a real life picture because it thinks it's a cartoon. But I cannot make me speak.
No. So it's all of the AI that's free is very limited. And
even with the AI that's paid.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's not great. And there are a couple of them out there that are high dollar AI, and they do much better. They're sort of designed for like commercials, stuff like that. But the monthly fee on them is like insane. It's like the first one that I looked at that actually had like, I forget the name of it now, but it was like $400 a month. I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'll just actually record the commercial. Like,
well, but for $400 a month, you need to make sure that you have all your prompts correct.
Yeah, of course.
So I have been learning about the prompts now. Like, so I've been playing with AI a little bit. And I've been prompting it to say, hey, listen, tell me who's going to be all the winners for this week in football. And it tells me, all the ones that it thinks. But then if you prompt it and say, okay, this is what everybody is, these are all the injuries and everything for every team and every game.
Yeah,
it'll actually give out a pretty good analysis on what it believes.
Sure.
And even at that, it's still right only about 62% of the time.
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, Like it, just like anything else, right?
$400 a month, though, I would have it. Like if I was paying $400 a month, it better be making some bets that win so that it pays for the $400 a month.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's sports, so it's a crapshoot. So,
I hear you.
Speaking of sports, we did have a game last night.
Is that what you called it?
You know, it was at least an entertaining game. Like it was a better game than I was imagining it was going to be. Now, obviously, the Bucs fall apart. They had a 14-point lead at one time. Atlanta comes back to get the win.
I think that's the game that gets Todd Bowles fired.
It very well could. It very
I
well
think
could.
Todd
It
Bowles
might be
was
the game
fired
that's-
before this, but you're going to see them. Interesting how they play Carolina twice in the last 3 weeks.
That'll determine.
That's the division because Atlanta and Carolina are both eliminated from the division contention.
Yeah.
So now your division is on the line now the next 3 weeks with those 2 games.
Exactly.
Carolina. Yeah, I guess so, because short of them tying twice, even that would not bode well for Atlanta.
Exactly.
Well, they showed last night because Atlanta has 9 losses. Atlanta has officially been eliminated from playoff contention.
Right.
Yeah.
So that means they're out of the division and everything at this point.
Right. Yeah, because the only 9-loss team that still has the possibility of being in the playoffs is Cincinnati.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's because that whole division is just hot trash.
Yeah.
Right. So which division is more hot trash? Because there's 3 divisions right now that you could say are garbage. Right in a second. One of which the Eagles happen to be in.
I think the end out of those 3, I think the NFC East is still the better of those divisions, just because you have the Commanders who have dealt with so many injuries this year, whether it be Jaden Daniels, Zach Ertz, Austin Eckler, Terry McLaurin missed 5 or 6 games. Debo was out for quite a bit. Like Washington just had one of those years where they haven't been healthy. So we really don't know how good or bad that team is. And then the Giants were showing signs of life until Malik Neighbors and Cam Scatterbo got hurt. Not saying the Giants would be a playoff team or whatever, but if those 2 guys don't get hurt, I think the Giants have a better record than where they're sitting right now too.
So for me, it's got to be the North because there is way more talent on those teams than their records would show. Like they are doing the least with the most out of the bad divisions. Like the other bad divisions, you're like, yeah, these teams are bad, but you knew they were going to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the North, you're like, these teams were supposed to be good. And instead, I mean, the Ravens have no excuse. Their guys have been mostly healthy. They just can't figure the life out. Bengals, you knew were going to struggle because they don't play defense. And then, you knew Burrow was going to get hurt because he does every other year.
Speaking of which, once you get done talking.
Yeah.
I want to bring that
and then
back up.
the Steelers are, the Steelers, right? So they're going to be a 9-win team.
Yeah.
So, did you hear that he's considering retirement?
I did. Yeah, he was saying that basically he has to decide if he still likes football, which if you're getting murdered all the time behind an offensive line, it could make you not love football. I mean, it's what got Andrew Luck to move on. He's just like, I'm just getting killed constantly.
He said he's not having fun.
Yeah.
And I can't blame him because he's scoring 35 points a game and
losing.
Still losing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, let me pull it up.
It's kind of unprecedented, really. Like
that's exactly it.
That's a number that in just about every scenario, you put up 30 plus points, you win.
Oh, easily.
At least over 50% of the time, right? Like sometimes you'll have one where you put up 35 points and it was just a shootout and you lose. But if they don't put up 40 points, they lose. That's insane.
Here's some of them. 34 points, loss.
Mm-hmm.
42 points, loss.
Yep.
38 points, loss. 24 points, loss. 27 points win, 27 points loss. So yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, it is bad.
And it's amazing because even their wins are like, well, I mean, I feel bad. Like even in that four game stretch, in 2 games specifically, they scored 80 points and lost both.
Exactly.
You know, that would make me want to quit.
See, that's the thing. Like, I don't necessarily know if he's actually thinking retirement. I think it's more so he's using that to maybe position himself to get traded, as in either trade me.
Oh, they're not going to trade him.
I'm not.
They're not going to. They would absolutely force him to retire before trading him. Like that is the Bengals' dysfunction.
Well, the thing is, there are a lot of trade talks surrounding Joe Burrow this morning, and they've already had 5 teams listed as like the best possible fits and what these teams could give up.
It's not that teams wouldn't try. It's they will treat Burrow the way that the Lions treated Barry.
No, see, I don't believe that. They aren't that team. No, I think I'll be honest. I think that they would choose. Joe Burrows is from Ohio, is he not?
Yes, that's right. He went to school in Louisiana, but yeah, he's from Ohio.
He's from Ohio.
Yeah.
I firmly believe that they would trade him. That they would actually do him right. Now they may ask for 3 first-round picks.
Oh, at a minimum. At a minimum, they would take that.
And I think that, how would you not take that? Like 2 first-round picks and a couple of thirds, maybe, and stuff like that. Like you could maybe do that. Maybe 2 first-round picks in 1 draft, depending on how high you are with that. Like, I think that you could possibly do a number of different things. And I think that he switches conferences.
I think he ends up in the NFC too. If the list that they showed this morning had 4 of the 5 teams in the NFC.
Yeah. And Chad, to answer your question here, some of this had to do with just the familiarity of Rivers with this system, because they wanted to get somebody that just like plug and play knows that offense.
And if Skylar Thompson isn't on the practice squad, they would just have to pluck him. They cannot trade him.
Yeah. But I mean, even if he was available, I think a lot of this has to do with his knowledge of this particular offense, happened to just come in off the couch, as opposed to trying to get another guy up to speed with only a few weeks left. Don't get me wrong. Like, I don't think he's going to come in and be successful. So,
hey, how many years does Burrow have left on his contract?
3.
He's got 3 years.
He's got 2 or 3 left for sure. Yeah.
And it wouldn't hurt for them to trade him now. Like it would actually work out in their favor for that now, because they wouldn't lose any cap money. Like it would be a very low cap hit.
I don't know. Like I feel like they have become that team that would be a menace.
I don't necessarily think that, just because given the situation, like given the position the Bengals are in right now, you trade Burrow, you're essentially, yes, you're in rebuild mode, but you're putting yourself in one of those positions where you can rebuild quickly, depending on what you get for picks back, where this might not be one of those 4 or 5 year rebuilds that the Bengals used to go through. It could be like a 1 or 2 year rebuild, because you're going to have all the picks you got from the Burrow trade. Then if you're bad for 2 years, then you also have your pick. So you could essentially get that roster turned around quick.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm with you. The Bengals seem to be doing all the things wrong. So it seems like they would also just mess this up. Cam losing his mind is funny, because it's all of his off the field stuff. Like if he would have actually spent some time improving his arm talent then when his athleticism started to fade, he would have been able to stay in the league. But instead, he was still the inaccurate passer that he had been.
Yeah.
And then he just wasn't the physical presence that he used to be. You know, it's the one thing you can say, Lamar, he came in, didn't have great arm talent, phenomenal runner, right? But he developed the arm talent over time, and now he's one of the more efficient passers in the league. That's something Cam never did, right? He had moments where he was good, but he never really put it together. It's why he also never had good seasons back-to-back. He had an MVP year and then was terrible the next season, and then had one more good year, and then he gets traded. And I mean, Cam can complain all he wants because it's great for clicks and views and whatever, but the last time we saw him, it wasn't good tape, you know, and if we know anything about the NFL, it's all about the last thing you did. That's how Baker Mayfield ended up getting moved out of Cleveland, right? Because he played hurt, put out bad tape. Nothing gets you out of an organization faster than some bad tape, even if it's injury based. If he didn't play injured, Baker probably still is Brown.
Yeah, this is who they have, like, the teams that would be in the running to get Burrow, should the Bengals entertain a trade. Arizona's listed, which I think Arizona's pretty much done with Kyler Murray at this point, so that makes sense why Arizona would be listed. The Atlanta Falcons are listed because they're one of those teams that we've talked about for a while now that has talent. They just haven't really had that consistent quarterback play.
Exactly. What have you done for me lately?
Yeah, they have the Minnesota Vikings listed just because the whole J.J. McCarthy, Sam Darnold debacle from this offseason. I don't think Minnesota can afford to go through another struggle when you look at how much money they have tied into the rest of that roster. They have the Pittsburgh Steelers as an option and the Jets as an option as the non-NFC teams to trade for Burrow, should that happen.
Yeah, the Jets, forget about that.
That's one, dude. Steelers I could see. Steelers I really could see.
Not going to trade in division.
No, I know, but I'm just saying the Steelers are like a team that I could see from the AFC like making a run at them. But those three teams mentioned in the NFC, all three of those make sense because the one thing they have lacked this year, or as opposed to like Atlanta and Arizona, has been quarterback play. Like Atlanta has a good roster. They just haven't had good quarterback play. Arizona hasn't had good quarterback play in since Carson Palmer?
If he doesn't want to play behind his current O-line.
And then they also have the Raiders as a possibility for Burrow too. But
Raiders would be interesting.
That's definitely more hinting on what happens with Pete Carroll and who the Raiders would bring in as a coach if Pete Carroll leaves.
I mean, Carroll would probably have success with Burrow, but
no,
I just can't see them keeping him in
the division.
Conference.
Conference.
Yeah, I see that they would want him maybe to show up one every 4 years. Because if he showed up on an annual basis, that would be messy for them in general. I don't know. So there are some interesting quarterbacks that are out there that are going to wind up having to come to fruition this year. Mm-hmm. Like the Eagles have a backup quarterback right now that's going to wind up. It's his needle is pushed to the point where a decision's going to have to be made. You know, they're going to wind up having to trade him. And when I think about it, I think about how he would probably be a great fit in Cincinnati. Now, same situation. Is he going to get injured because the quarterback, gets hit a lot there? Mm-hmm. But
and to answer Donna's question here, just because he doesn't want to play in the situation that he's in doesn't mean he doesn't want to play football. He just means that he doesn't want to continue to lose, putting up 40 and getting smoked every game.
That's not what he said, though. He actually discussed how this is actually affecting his mental health.
Yeah. No, of course it is. Because you were putting everything out there. You're getting hurt all the time. You're spending a lot of time in a training room. That is mentally tough anyway. Rehab sucks.
The situation he is in, and granted this is two different style quarterbacks, but the situation he is in right now with the Bengals is a lot like the same situation that Kirk Cousins was in his final year with the Commanders, where Kirk Cousins was going out, putting up 32, 33, 34 points every week, but the defense was giving up 38. And it got to the point where Cousins is like, I'm not signing the extension you give me. I'm taking a little bit less money and going to Minnesota because I don't want to come out here and put up 35 points a game if we can't win.
Well, and even back then, he talked about not enjoying football as much.
Because the initial contract he signed with Minnesota, like, yes, it was a fully guaranteed contract, but the Commanders offered him $40 million more than the Vikings did over like a longer period of time. And he's just like, well, your contract's not fully guaranteed. Minnesota's is fully guaranteed. And I don't want to come out here and not enjoy playing football anymore.
Yeah,
well, nobody enjoys losing.
You don't enjoy football if you're spending a lot of time in a training room.
Yeah.
You're losing games that you're doing your job.
Yeah.
Right. And then you're not set up for success. You're not going to have fun.
Yeah.
Like it's part of it. So I get what he's saying. That being said, if you're another team and you think you can put him in a better situation, I don't think it's like I now have a disdain for football. I'm just not having fun because I'm getting killed out here. In a better situation, I bet you start enjoying the game again.
Yeah. Like you put Joe Burrow on an average defense. I'm not saying like an elite top 10 defense, but like an average, like middle of the road defense. And you have any sort of a weapon. We'll just say Drake London in Atlanta, for example. Drake London's a great receiver. Atlanta's defense isn't terrible, but it's also not great. It's a lot better than Cincinnati's defense. You put Joe Burrow in a situation like that, he's going to make the playoffs probably every year as long as he stays healthy. Because he will be able to score plenty of points, and your defense typically isn't bad enough to give up 35 points consistently. Yes, you're going to do that every now and then, but it's not like the Bengals where every week the Bengals need to score almost 40 points to win games.
Well, even in Tampa doesn't have a great O-line either. So they're still going to have O-line problems, and their receivers have had a hard time staying healthy.
Tampa's O-line has been injured, though. There's a difference. So, like,
that's what I'm saying. No, I get that. That's what I'm saying. I mean, but look, Baker's no slouch quarterback. I mean, if Baker's, is not doing it, what's Burrow going to do there?
Well, the difference is if your guys are hurt, you're going to suffer, right?
Yeah.
But at least you had the guys. When you're looking at the Bengals, they don't have the guys. So even if they got hurt, it's not like it'd be a huge downgrade.
Let's put it in an interesting setting. Arizona.
That was one of the teams that was mentioned because you go to Arizona, you have Marvin Harrison Jr., who's going to be obviously his go-to. You have Trey McBride, who is a top 3 tight end, which is going to be basically his version of T. Higgins over there. You have
a decent defense and a decent offensive line.
And you have James Conner, which is a legitimate running back, which is what he had a lot of success with when Joe Mixon was the primary back in the Bengals.
Well, and if you give him a great quarterback, because they have not had great quarterback play.
Nope.
Yeah, and Donna, right here, it does help your mental health if you have the opportunity to win. At this point, they don't really have the opportunity to win. You're looking at last year, if they were able to stop anybody, he wins the MVP, probably going away, has a Triple Crown receiver, missed the playoffs.
I think he wins. Yeah.
Hold on just a sec. So then he misses the playoffs last year. Obviously, he gets hurt this year, but all of their money is on one side of the ball. They don't play defense. So you can be playing out of your mind at an MVP level, have one of the best receivers in the game, putting up 40 points a game, and you still can't win. Yep. That absolutely messes with your head. Yep. He would probably be much happier on a team where he's putting up 30 points, 28 points, whatever, middle of the road, but you have a defense that can ever get a stop. Yes. You actually are competing for wins. Right now, they can put up as many points as they want. Their defense doesn't stop anybody. They're still going to lose. That messes with your head.
I think realistically, if the Bengals would have found a way to get that final playoff spot last year, I do think Joe Burrow wins that MVP last year. If he could have got them into the playoffs last year with how bad that defense is. But going back to that comment too, Joe Burrow comes into every Sunday basically feeling that he has to do everything to win a football game because he knows his defense can't make a stop. Like he's like, well, I got to score every single time I have the ball. Yep. Otherwise, if we punt on one possession, we're screwed. You go to a team like Pegs at like Arizona that has a strong defense. Now Burrow's got the mindset like, I don't have to do everything on my own. Like I can just go out there and play football. And if we score 27 points, chances are my defense is not going to give up 27 points. Like he doesn't have the whole weight of the world on his shoulders if he goes to a team that has a defense that can make stops.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, that's my point is I think mentally he would be good in a different situation where he has an opportunity to win. Like he doesn't necessarily have to be on a juggernaut. He just needs to be able to know that if I put up 35 points, I have a good shot at winning.
Oddly,
right now, put up 35 points, you're like, you know what? Probably just wasn't enough.
Right.
Oddly enough, the only time the Cincinnati Bengals had a respectable defense, the Bengals ended up in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I mean, we're quite a few years removed.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, that
are.
year though, like that year, Cincinnati's defense still wasn't great, but I think they were like 17th or 18th.
Yeah, they were middle of the road defense.
That's
I mean, that's all he needs. He needs a defense that can at least get you 1 or 2 stops a game, as opposed to being turnstiles that let you score every time you touch the ball.
Like that year, the defense gave up, I think, 23.6 points per game, which you don't really want to give up that many points, but still 23.6 points per game. Chances are Burrow's going to score at least 27. So even if your defense is giving up 23, he's probably going to at least get that more often than not.
As far as points go, they have the 12th ranked offense and the 32nd ranked defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only team who's closest to them giving up points is Dallas.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I'm very curious.
And even that one, there's a gap. Like the
Bengals, 413 to 386.
Yeah.
The Bengals defense is awful.
I'm very curious to see because you said the Bengals offense is 12th, right?
12th.
Yeah.
I'm very
and a lot of that has to do with that offensive line.
Well, I'm very curious to see where they would be if you take out that 3-game stretch where Jake Browning started. And you just have the Joe Flacco in there and Joe Burrow. They'd probably be inside the top 7. Because you had that 3-game stretch with Jake Browning where Cincinnati was turning the ball over almost every possession. They couldn't score for 3 games.
Yep.
Like you take those 3 games out and you just roll with the games that Burrow has played and the games that Flacco's played, that's probably a top 7 offense. Even a top 5 offense, maybe.
No, but that's the point. And even last year, they had a top offense, and it didn't matter.
They were like number 1 offensively last year, weren't they?
They were close. I don't think they ended
there.
there.
Lions are number 1. Yeah, Lions are number 1 last year offensively.
Yeah, I was going to say the Eagles were up top there, too.
I think the Eagles were 3. I think the Lions are 1. I think the Bengals were 2. I think the Bengals are the number 1 offense in the AFC last year.
Yeah, but I mean, they were a top 5 offense, and I mean, and they still couldn't get it done because their defense can't show up. No, I mean, there's a lot wrong with the Bengals.
I mean, if you don't put money in your defense, I don't know how you expect to do that.
Well,
you can't score 30 points every night. I mean, I think that's unrealistic with injuries and things.
If you're gonna go just nothing but offense,
right?
You at least have to fix your offensive line. Like you can't have a quarterback and a couple of receivers and be like, okay, this is gonna work, and Burrow's just getting smoked back there. I mean, you got to at least get him some protection because you have to score every time you touch the ball. So I don't know. It's not a well put together team.
Yeah.
It definitely makes it harder on your run game too, because if you're not able to protect the quarterback, how are you going to give holes for their run game? So they become more of a one-dimensional offense.
Chase Brown has had a good year though. Like Chase Brown is running the football.
And they've lost 4 games in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Because they can't get a stop.
Right. It's like, and you think about that, like one was against the Jets.
The Bears game especially was that one where
was the back-to-back against that was the other one. They lost to the Jets with a last-second field goal, and then lost to the Bears.
Yep.
Same situation.
Last second touch. Literally, almost the last second touchdown. The Bears got a touchdown with like 11 seconds left.
Right. And then they got then you have the Patriots that had a touchdown in the last minute or so. And also the Bills, same situation. Touchdown in the last minute. So it's those are the 4 games. I mean, think about that. Had they won 2 of those games, they would be second in the division.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like Chase Brown's got 727 yards rushing, which, I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot, but Cincinnati, for the most part, has never really been a rushing team. It's always been a passing team. But Chase Brown hasn't had a bad year offensively. It's just when you're behind as many points as the Bengals are sometimes, or when you have a defense that can't stop anybody, you're forced to pass because otherwise you're going to run out of time.
Yeah, I don't know. The Bengals are a mess. That is the main takeaway here.
Yeah, exactly. Interestingly, and it's so funny. I'm just looking at the leaders in all of the stats, and it's like how Stafford has got 35 passing touchdowns.
Yeah.
Next to Goff, who's got 26, and Prescott's got 26.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fourth on that list is Derek May.
Drake May.
Yeah.
That's the MVP right there. The MVP is going to come down to, in my opinion, Drake May or Matthew Stafford.
Drake, whatever.
Yeah.
So TJ Watt is still questionable for this week with that chest injury. So that's sort of a wait and see. Sounds like it's kind of a game time decision.
Well, they said it's his lungs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I said that'll probably be a game time decision on how that works.
Yeah.
Donna, I did see your question. We just happened to be in the middle of a conversation. The toy drive was good. First day of it. We're back at it on Saturday. So for those of you watching, if you're in the Northwest, come out to Crucible Brewing. Toys for Tots. We're also going to be watching the Husky Bowl game. But new unwrapped toy. Bring that out. Help the kids. And you get a free second beer by doing it. And you're good. You're good. It just wasn't going to break up the conversation for it.
Yeah, when it comes to the TJ Watt decision, too, I think the definition of game time decision is accurate because when you have a lung injury, it's hard enough to breathe as it is. But if it ends up being like super cold on Monday night where you have like single digit wind chills, having not an injured lung, but having a lung that's not functioning 100% is not going to make your breathing any easier in cold weather. That's why I think that's more so of, if it's too cold, they're not going to throw him out there because if he can't breathe as well as he normally can, it doesn't pay to even put him out there at that point.
Well, and even if he is a go with a lung injury, you're probably going to be limited anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's going to be a sort of, let's see how you do if it is a go.
Like when I was in track,
there's no follow-up information that I've seen so far. So that I can't give you. I haven't seen what the direct cause is.
Yeah, when I was in track in high school and college, like we started our off-season training like this time of year is kind of when we started our off-season training because our season started late February. Mm-hmm. And I found out the hard way that running in below zero weather is not the best for you because my left lung froze when I was running and I legitimately could not breathe and I thought I was having a heart attack.
I mean, yeah, it's also why when it's like sub-zero temperatures, like when you're running, a lot of times they'll have the face mask on because then you're at least heating that air yourself a little bit.
That was like the first time I ever ran in like weather that cold because high school track, you just have like your specific season and that's when you're running versus college track. Like you have your fall season, then you have winter off and then you pick things up in the spring, but you still have like your off season training is what they call it in the winter. So that was the first time I ever ran in weather that cold, and they always say it's bad for your lungs. I'm like, yeah, my lung legitimately froze. I understand that now.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you're close to freezing, like it doesn't have to be sub-zero temperatures. Like as soon as it's close to freezing, it is really rough on your lungs.
Yeah.
All right, a couple other quick things. Do you think Garrett breaks the sacks record?
He might break it against the Bears.
He'll break it against the Bears.
Yeah.
I mean,
what's
Caleb Williams has
22 and a half sacks.
He's at 20.
He's at 19.
He's at 20 right now.
Oh, he's at 20. Yeah. Do I think he gets 3 sacks against the Bears? Yeah, probably, because Caleb Williams does have a tendency to hang on to the ball.
Yeah,
he's also an escape artist, though. Like he's actually towards the bottom of the league in amount of times being sacked because he is really good at getting.
And this is Ben Johnson who's coaching, so let's they're going to double and triple team Garrett. They're not going to let
scheme against it. No question.
Yeah. And there's they got 3 games left? I think of the season.
Four.
Is it 4?
There's 4.
Yeah, he's only got to get 1.
He's
Won
got to
a
get
game.
what? 3 sacks, right?
Yeah.
2.5 sacks
Yeah.
is 22.5 is the number.
Yep.
Yeah. So to break it, he needs 3.
He's breaking it. It's just unless he gets hurt, he's going to break it. It's just a matter of what game he breaks it on.
Yeah, I think I hope he gets somewhere like way above, like somewhere around 28 sacks. I hope.
I think he'll
Only because let's not make it the asterisk game where he had an extra game. No, he did it the right way.
Yeah,
I think
I want him to break it before the final game.
Yes,
because then it's not a question, right? Because then
Right.
it'd be like, okay, like even if there wasn't the 17th game, it doesn't matter.
Right.
I think he ends up with 24 or 25, but I think he ends up breaking it in. I think he ends up breaking it in week 17 if he doesn't break it against the Bears, which would equate to basically the same thing as the old sack record when it got broken. And then whatever he gets in week 18, it's just a moot point at that point. It's like, well, you already broke it in the regulation amount of games. Now it's just tacking onto your total.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it has to happen at 17 games in order for it not be
16. It's
Question.
got to happen in 16.
I think
16,
I think he breaks
16.
it in week 16 or week 17 to get to like 24 at that point. And then if he gets anything in week 18, that's just going to be like, oh, well, you already had it broken before this game started. So now he's just
here's Cleveland is playing the Bears. They also play. Who else do they got?
They got the Bills, the Steelers, and the Bengals.
The Bengals game right there. Like if obviously I think.
Didn't he get 5 sacks against the Bengals last time?
He had 4 sacks against the Bengals the first time.
Yeah, the problem with that is that's the week 18. That's the 17th game.
That's what I'm saying. Like if he can get 1.5 sacks against the Bears to get to 20.
Or did he get 5 sacks against the Steelers?
He might have had 5 against the Steelers.
Or was it the Ravens? I don't remember. Or the Jets.
He's had a couple of monster games.
If he can get 2 sacks against the Bears, we'll say even a sack and a half, that pulls him at 21 or 22.
22.
Then he only needs the 1 sack against Pittsburgh to get to 20, or 1 sack against the Bills or Pittsburgh in either one of those games. That puts him at 23 to break the record. Then he can just tee off on Cincinnati in week 18, be like, I'm going for 30 sacks this week, and guys, just let me lose.
I mean, I think he does get there within the 16 games, though.
Yeah. Oh, I do too.
Because I think against the Steelers, he'll probably get Rodgers once.
Right.
I could definitely see him getting at least 2 against the Bears. Again, just only because Caleb Williams does hold the ball. Are they going to scheme against him? Sure.
Yeah.
Will it be successful most of the time? Yeah. But he only needs 2.
Yeah. I want him to get into a position though in that week 18 against Cincinnati where it's like I legitimately have a shot at 30 sacks. Like just
turn
me loose and let me go.
You know what would be funny is because Aaron Rodgers is on this Brett Favre arc. Maybe he just gives him number 20.
And then Rodgers will have some sort of excuse. I slipped. I lost my footing.
100%, right?
Yeah.
He takes a dive and he just taps him down. Number 23, new record.
Right? Like if he's at 25 sacks heading into that Bengals game in week 18, I would not be shocked if he tried to go for 30 and he's just like, I'm just gonna let me go. I'm just gonna go 100% to try to get the 30.
I mean, why not, right? You're so far out of it. Just go get those stats.
Right.
And I mean, I give him credit too, though, for not really asking for a trade. And like he's just kind of stuck with Cleveland his whole career.
He can't ask for a trade. He took the money.
Well, no, but he could have asked for a trade instead of taking the money. Like he didn't have to sign that contract. Like if he wouldn't have,
he did ask for a trade, and then they took the money.
Well, yeah,
he 100% asked for a trade, and then they were like, "Hey, what if we just give you all the money ever?" And he's like, "Okay." Like
no, he's just like, I'll just get my stats, and I'll just set record after record.
Yeah, but I mean, he was very public about wanting to get out of there. He's like, "I want to win. I want to go somewhere." Like he was in. Like, where have you been?
Do you think he sets the all-time record?
Ultimately,
yeah.
Yes, I think that he beats Reggie White.
Bruce Smith, Reggie White.
Yeah. Where is he at comparatively now?
I think he's got to be top 10.
I mean, you can't bring that up and not have stats. What are we doing?
Because
I don't know that he might be real close to 100 or maybe just a touch.
He's over 100, I believe.
But
because TJ Watt's over.
While you're finding that out, my next question is: who is the Bears' defensive coordinator?
Dennis Allen.
Yeah.
he is probably going to get a coaching job this year. I'm looking at interceptions, and they have 3 Bears in the top 5.
Yep.
With interceptions.
Yep.
Yeah.
15 interceptions between the 3 of those guys.
Miles Garrett is 30th all time right now at 122.
And what's the first spot?
200 even for Bruce Smith. So he's got to get.
Oh, he's still a long way off.
He's got 77.5 sacks to get, but figure he's got what, 8, 9 years left, because I think this is year 10 for him.
Yeah, but he's definitely going to have a drop off at some point.
He's the only player in NFL history that's had at least double-digit sacks. So I think every single year.
Wow.
I think Miles Garrett. I believe they said the other day that Miles Garrett has had double-digit sacks every year of his NFL career. So even if he does that and keeps that pace on, if he plays 8 more years at a minimum 10 sacks, you're at 80 sacks. That puts him at 202.5. So he's got a shot to get it. He's just got to make sure he stays healthy and doesn't have one of those years where he does have like a drop off. Otherwise, he's going to need to replace that with another 20 sack season like he's got this year.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that's a long way to go. I feel like that's something you revisit here in a couple of years.
But yeah, I when I saw that, and I'm looking at just interceptions specifically.
Byard, Nahshon Wright's on that list, correct?
Yeah, it's Byard and Wright are in the top 2.
Because one's got 5, one's got 6, or they both got 5.
Right. No, Byard's got 6, Wright's got 5, and Edmonds has got 4.
And Edmonds is the linebacker, honestly.
So it's like that. Obviously, they're scheming properly.
Dennis Allen, I don't see getting another head coaching job, though, because he tried it with the Raiders.
Donna, who says I sit down?
What? What'd you say?
She said, bring my snow brush. I'm like, who says I sit down?
No, I don't see Dennis Allen getting another head coaching job because I kind of compare him to Josh McDaniels on the defensive side, where he's a great defensive coordinator, and he's shown that his entire career. But he had 0 success as the Raiders head coach when he was there for 4.5, 5 years. And he didn't have any success trying it with the Saints. Granted, neither one of those teams had the best roster when he was there. But if he's going to take a head coaching job, he's probably going to get put with another team that doesn't have a great roster. So does he want to go through that again? Or does he just want to be one of the highest paid defensive coordinators in the NFL? Of
course you want to go through that again because you get money that's guaranteed.
I just think he's the second highest paid defensive coordinator in the NFL right now, behind Brian.
Yeah,
Flores.
but if you're the 32nd paid as a head coach, it's still more.
I don't see Dennis Allen. I don't see Dennis Allen doing that. If he does, maybe not for a couple more years yet.
I mean, if he does, he knows he'll get a coordinator position again because he has success every time he does it. Mm-hmm. So you take as many bites as the apple of free money as you can get.
The funny thing is, like, this is an anti-Dennis Allen here, though, because usually Dennis Allen's defenses are top 5 and like fewest points allowed. They're always like top 5, top 10, and like fewest yards allowed.
Yep.
They're like 28th, I think, in yards allowed. They're like 26th in points allowed. But the reason why they've been bailed out is because of the turnovers. Like, his defense hasn't played well across the board besides forcing the turnovers.
No, for sure. And Donna, the water situation hasn't changed a ton. It's not raining anymore, but it's still the water hasn't really started receding yet. All of our flood levels have crested sometime overnight. So we still have a lot of roads, highways, and stuff all closed off. My little town of Snohomish, there's really only one way in and out at the moment.
Yeah, the Bears coach that's drawing a lot of attention as a possible head coach next year is the offensive coordinator, Declan Doyle. He's 29 right now, so he'll be 30 in August. So he will be the youngest coach ever to coach an NFL team, even younger than when Sean McVay got the job. But Declan Doyle's kind of been one of those fast rising assistants that just fills whatever role you need him to fill, gets promoted the next season, does well, gets promoted, does well, and now he's an offensive coordinator in Chicago. Granted, he doesn't call the plays on game day, but Ben Johnson's already said that Declan Doyle runs all the practices, so he calls all the plays during practices. He runs all the offensive team meetings through the week. The only thing that Ben Johnson does is call the plays on game day. So Declan Doyle does a lot more work than people think he does. He just doesn't call the plays on game day, but he does everything else behind the scenes leading up to the game day.
Well, I mean, that's not uncommon.
Yeah.
For coaches that call their own plays, they still have coordinators for exactly that reason.
But usually the head coach is like running the meetings and whatnot. But like Declan Doyle's been running like all of the meetings, pretty much running everything offensively during practice, and Ben Johnson's just kind of there to give input.
Yeah, I mean that's not that uncommon.
Yeah. So that's why I think Doyle would get the job, get a head coaching job before Dennis Allen, just because all these teams now want that new, young, hot offensive assistant that's doing well, as opposed to kind of the old school, been around the block a couple times coaches.
I don't know. Some of these organizations just really like a defensive coach. You know, the timing might work out to be a Jet.
Aaron Glenn's got at least one more year before they annex him.
Yeah, but so does Dennis Allen. So since they just like to double down on defensive coaches for whatever reason, hey, our offense is terrible. We're going to get another defensive coach. Cool.
Yeah. All right. There's 15 minutes left. I have to switch it up here a little bit.
Sure. What do you got?
Edwin Diaz, 3 years, $69 million. Worth it?
Not for a closer.
I think I am glad that they made that mistake. I feel like that's a big mistake.
Not for a closer. Not for a closer. He's not worth it.
I agree.
What I'm more pissed off about is the rumor that came out this morning, and if it happens, we might as well not even have free agency anymore. Dodgers said they're willing to give Kyle Tucker $75 to $80 million a year for 5 years. Wow. Go screw yourselves. Like, if you honestly sign Kyle Tucker for 5 years at $400 million, you are literally making it physically impossible for any other team to get a free agent, because you are overpaying for every player that you want and just completely saturating the market, because then all these other players are like, well, he just got that from this team, so I'm going to want this. And it's just like, well, we physically can't afford that. The Dodgers are just the Dodgers because they can do what they want.
That these types of moves by the Dodgers is almost forcing the hand of the salary cap.
That's why that's why the Dodgers are doing it, though, because they know whatever moves they make this offseason, if a salary cap comes into play,
it's grandfathered.
Exactly. So the Dodgers are going to do whatever they can do to get whoever they want this year, no matter what they have to pay to get them, because it's not going to affect them when everything goes into place. They're going to get grandfathered in. So they're literally going to make it physically impossible for these teams to not only get a high-priced free agent this year, but then you look at when the new salary cap or whatever comes in, you're not going to be able to sign these players to $60 million contracts anymore.
And this is where I feel that old-time baseball will come back into play. You're going to start seeing them getting plunked. You're going to start seeing guys going in cleats first into second base and third base. You're going to start seeing guys getting really hurt. Guess what? You're getting paid anyways. It don't matter.
It gets better, too. The Dodgers are now very close to getting Tarik Skubal. And if they get Skubal, if they get Skubal, they said they're going to just sign him right away to a 7-8 year deal right away.
Yeah, of course.
So, let's just go give Kyle Tucker $80 million for the next 5 years, and then we'll just go and give Skubal $50-60 million for the next 8 years. Screw the rest of the baseball world, because you guys aren't going to be able to do anything about it. And then once the salary cap or whatever comes into play, you still can't do anything about it, because whoever's on our team stays on our team, because they're all grandfathered in.
Yeah, it's
smart.
It's
crazy. That is so freaking crazy.
It's smart, but it's freaking annoying.
Agreed. You're talking to a fan that our team's never even made it to the World Series. Like,
I'm giving the Dodgers credit just because the GM is being smart about the situation, because he knows the situation that's coming. But it's still like annoying, because all these other teams know as soon as the Dodgers sign somebody and they see how much they sign for, it's just like, we're screwed because we never had a shot. Like, we gave them a good offer, but we're not going to overpay by $20 million a year just because a team can.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's going to be an interesting landscape. It does seem like it's going to force the salary cap, and then it will be exactly that, right? It almost guarantees them rings until the grandfathered contracts are done. Mm-hmm. So
it'll be like 7 years down the road.
Smart. Like I can't be mad at it. The rules are set up so they can do this.
Yeah, I can't be mad because they're not breaking the rules. It's just frustrating the way they do it, I guess.
I just like that they're not even trying to hide it. They're just
No,
like
that's the part that's frustrating.
They're dunking over your head and just pelvis thrusting into the face.
Like that's the part that's frustrating. Like all the deferred contracts that they gave out the last couple of years. That's been a thing forever, but for whatever reason, no team ever did it. But all of a sudden, all the Dodgers are doing all these deferred contracts, and they're like, when was this a thing? And everyone's like, oh, you could always do that. And they're like, well, why hasn't anybody ever done this before? And then they're like, because you have to pay that money back eventually. So it's not like it's free cash that goes away. It's like, oh,
no, but you're mortgaging your future for rings today.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you get the rings.
Yeah,
Joe,
they're doing the Yankees. They are the Yankees from the 70s and 80s.
Yep.
That's what I said. I said, is the evil empire? Is that designation now moving from the Yankees to the Dodgers because of what the Dodgers are doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a new strategy. Like they took something they watched work. I'm surprised someone hadn't done it until now.
Sooner.
I'm actually surprised the Yankees didn't go back to doing it.
Well, according to the Yankees owner, they lost $440 million last year as a franchise. I don't know how you lose $440 million in the Yankee franchise.
Yeah, and
that's
Joe,
a massive.
Other teams can do it; they just don't.
Yeah, that's a massive concern if you're a Yankees fan, though. Like a team as profitable as the Yankees have been for how long they've been around, how does that franchise lose $500 million?
Mismanagement.
That's why they were asking him about Kyle Tucker and like some of the pitchers on the open market, and even the Steinbrenner even said we're not going after the big ticket free agents that we should. And then somebody asked him why. He's like, we were almost $500 million in debt. Like we need to cut payroll as opposed to bring more payroll on. It's just like, how are the Yankees $500 million in debt?
Well, they lost the Yes Network, right?
Yeah, but the Yes Network didn't bring in that much money though. That
it was a lot.
Yeah, but still $500 million in debt. And that's why the Dodgers can do what they do, because their TV network gets them over $1 billion in revenue every single year. Like that team will never be below the red because of how much money they're getting just on their TV deal. They will always be profitable until that TV contract expires.
And Donna, it would go towards the grandfathered in thing. Speculation, right? Obviously, we haven't seen the verbiage of it, so.
So Schwarber getting $150 million gets blown up by the next day Pete Alonso getting 155.
Yeah,
Alonso's not worth it. Schwarber is.
Schwarber is for 3 years, and then 2 years you're going to be paying him for nothing.
Yeah.
Pete Alonso, you're going to start paying him for nothing next year.
Mm-hmm. I think you might get one good year out of Pete Alonso just because of the ballpark he's going to. After that, I think it's going to be an ugly contract for the Orioles.
They had to do that. They were just going to extend him just because they're not going to change managers now. I have a problem right now with them as they haven't added any pieces that are going to bring them over the hump than what they've done, in the past few years. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're talking about bringing Bohm back, and it's like, oh, okay, well, that does absolutely nothing. We still don't have an outfield yet. You know what I mean? So it's like you guys
need to worry about your pitching because you don't have Suarez.
Well, he hasn't signed anywhere yet.
Well, but you don't know if Wheeler's going to come back. And if he does come back, what version of Wheeler are you going to get after the injury he had last year?
Yeah.
Like, he's the biggest mystery, I think, in the Phillies rotation is Wheeler.
You know what? I don't necessarily believe that because they have these nanobots now. I think that's going to be resolved. It was Klotz that they were worried about with him. Yeah, they have the nanobots now that get that stuff resolved. I don't think that's an issue. I think he'll be fine. I feel like that. Obviously, this year was a down year for
Nola.
He'll be back. It's like he has a down year and then an up year again. So I suspect that he's going to go back to where he was before. Suarez, I'd love to have him back, but I'm not sure that he will be. Sanchez was in the running for Cy Young. So I think
Luzardo's the one that I'm worried about for you, though, because last year was the first time in his career that he actually stayed healthy for the most part for a whole year. Like, the health of Luzardo's always been a concern that he has a hard time making like 20 starts. So if he ends up getting hurt and goes down.
Again, he's what, a fourth starter. They're going to have Andrew Painter come up this year, so he's going to probably move to number 5 if they don't put him in the bullpen. I think that he could be like a long relief and possibly get moved into the number 7 inning spot, Luzardo. I think that's where I would like to see him. I'm more concerned about Orion Kirkring and what his mental state's going to be after the way he lost to the Dodgers. Like, that's, I think, a big deal. That could be a really big deal. I also wonder what the story is with JT Realmuto. Obviously, I still think he's one of the best defensive catchers in the league, and that outweighs his hitting. But we have a problem at second base. I mean, as much as I love Bryson Stott, I just don't feel that he is that guy. I don't have anything. Like, we still don't have an outfield yet. We have Castellanos for one more year, but everybody's saying he's gone. And I'm like, I don't know that he's gone. I think he's still here. And I love Nick. I think Nick is good. But I think Nick kind of checks out a little bit mentally, and that's an issue. So, the Dodgers, the one thing about the Dodgers is that they are beatable. The Phillies should have won that series. We blew it. We lost that series in comparison to the Dodgers winning that series. Toronto lost that series in comparison to the Dodgers winning that series.
Yeah.
And that's what I see. You know what I mean? Everybody else in the mix of that, like, had this been a 7-game series against the Dodgers, I think even with them up 3-1, it may have gone 7 games.
Yeah.
So before we get out of here, Dan Wolken, Yahoo Sports, reports that other ADs are talking about freezing out Notre Dame on their schedules moving forward because of their automatic bid if they're in the top 12. If that actually happens, you'll find them finally forced into a conference. I mean, that's what it was going to take anyway. As these conferences continue to get bigger, teams saying, hey, we're not going to schedule Notre Dame because our conference is big enough for our, in-conference play. But if this automatic bid situation really does go that route, I could absolutely see top schools saying, hey, we're just not going to play it.
Yeah, but they have contracts over the next 2 years. So the next 2 years would be.
Well, no, and that's why they said moving forward.
Well, see, that's the key, though.
Obviously, they have to fulfill the schedules that they already have set up. But moving forward, they can be like, hey, we're not scheduling it.
And that 2028 was the key to Notre Dame, just because a big reason why they're not in a conference right now is because of the money they're getting from NBC. Like, NBC is their primary broadcast channel. They are making so much money on NBC. That contract ends after 2027. So when you get to 2028, if all these teams want to freeze them out, Notre Dame's not going to have that NBC TV deal that they currently have right now. They'll gladly jump into a conference then. That's why they won't do it right now, because they do that, they lose their NBC deal right now. They're not going to
if they jump into the ACC, they're going to, where all the rest of their stuff is anyway, they're going to win that division.
They're planning on leaving the ACC. If you heard the reports the other day,
that's not what he was saying.
And then let's think about this even in a different way. That Notre Dame flips the script and says, you know what, we're going to start our own conference. And they start pulling from these other major conferences. Like, you get teams like Vanderbilt, who did great this year and got snubbed. Teams that are getting snubbed, getting moved over into that. Like Boston College, call it like the classic conference,
the old private conference, the old private conference.
Right, bringing in You could bring in Army and Navy. There's those two. They have one of the biggest games that they show on television.
Air Force.
NBC could own that contract too. You know, all of a sudden that could be a very big deal. You know, you start bringing in those teams that are getting snubbed, like I said, Vanderbilt, like I don't know, like just I'm sure there's plenty of teams out there that are doing that. And make a conference like that. And now all of a sudden you got to admit it like that. Just another way of thinking outside the box.
No. That would be very interesting. That does get us to the top of the hour. Thanks for everybody that's been playing along in the chat. Be sure to like and subscribe. Helps us bring our stuff to you. Otherwise, we're going to get out of here. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Take it easy.
Peace.